Hey guys, this is Steven, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make absolutely stunning black and white photographs in Photoshop. You're going to start with your color, turn it into something bland, and then turn it into something that's so much better. So let's get started. I already have my file imported, and the first thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of definition to this, just to make things pop a little more. So we're going to go to Filter, and we're just going to convert this to Smart Filters the very first. And what this will do, you'll be able to edit the sharpness later on if you wanted to. So go to Filter, and then go down to Sharpen, and go to Unsharp Mask. In here we can edit the sharpness settings. I have mine set at 60% with a radius of 2 and a threshold of 0. Now you can mess with these settings, do as you wish, but for this picture, that is what I chose, and that bumps up the sharpness quite a bit. The next thing we are going to do is add an adjustment layer by hitting this little button right here. And we are going to create a color balance adjustment. And with this, we're going to select shadows first and bump up the cyan, magenta, and bump up the blue. This will really make a difference when we convert this to black and white later. Midtones we can do the same, just a little bit less cyan, a little bit less magenta, and up a little bit blue. And highlights, I'll just do in the opposite direction, a little bit of red, a little bit of green, and a little bit of yellow, just to, sort of contrast the picture a bit. Also, if we have our black brush selected, we can mask out the background so that it's less popping in the background. So I'll have my brush up at 100% opacity, have black selected, and we'll just blot out the background just to make it a little more dull, so whatever's in the middle of it is way more visually pleasing. So I'll just do that there, and make sure the mask is selected while you're doing this black, brushing this out. And that's okay for now, we don't have to get too detailed. We're going to create another adjustment layer, and this we're going to put on curves. And what I like to do, we're going to put a point in the middle, click and select a point up near the top, and then up near the bottom. Now we're going to drag this one up to bring up the highlights, and we'll drag this one down to bring up the contrast. And then we'll bring this one up just a little bit just to brighten the picture. It's looking good so far, but we can do a lot more. Now what I like to do is create a new layer, and to really emphasize the highlights and shadows, I'm going to take a black brush, turn down the opacity to around 10%, and we're going to start with the black first. So I'm going to highlight all the shadows on this new layer, all the dark areas of the picture, and drag it a little bit more black. And I'll show you the difference after I'm done with this. Just get the arrows, or the areas where it would generally be a lot darker, all the indents and everything, maybe underneath this, around here. Get the shadows of the picture, and it'll really make it pop later in the future. You can do this as much as you like, but just focus on the small areas and you should be good. Now we're going to do the same thing with the white for the highlights. I'm going to press X on my keyboard to switch between black and white, and now I'm just going to get the lighter areas. So around where the sun hits, wherever the light hits in your picture, on the side. Use this again in the small areas, because it'll really make a big difference after. So again, getting around here. If you're doing animals or people, mainly focus on the curvature or the actual shape of their face or bodies, or try and get stuff like that, like around here. Now I can show you the after, the before, and the after, and it really is a big difference. Now the final thing we can do is add the last adjustment layer, which would be the black and white. So we go to hit the adjustments, go to black and white, and then we're going to fine tune the color settings. We're going to also bring the red down a little bit, the yellow down a little bit, and then we are going to bring up the cyan and magenta just a bit. And then we go from something that's boring, which is the original black and white, and we turned it into something really good. Alright guys, I hope you liked this tutorial. Comment on it, rate it, and subscribe if you want to. Alright, thanks guys. Peace.